Skyrim is just a land full of adventures. Adventures that will take you as high as the world's creative peak allows, with you slaying a world-eating dragon to defeating an evil ancient vampire. Not satisfied with either of these adventures, we'll maybe try and defeat the first of a long-lost line of powerful humanoids that you only figured out you were part of after being escorted to your execution. No matter what I decide to tell you here, Skyrim is full of epic quests for your hero to take part in. Some of these quests are in the form of downloadable content, or the more well-known abbreviation DLC. There isn't many people I know who haven't taken time out of their playtime sessions to visit and experience the DLC Skyrim offers you, with there being three main ones: Dawnguard, Hearthfire and Dragonborn, all listed in order of the release date by how I said it. Over my years streaming and uploading videos, there have been a lot of debates and discussions on the rankings of these three DLCs and which ones are the best and which ones aren't good, etc, etc. However, I've decided to rank the three DLCs with my own opinion, and I will be placing them from worst to best. Alongside this, I'll be giving each one a score out of 10 depending on different elements of each piece of content, ranging from the quest line to the enemy types to all that good stuff. To give a generalized idea of what I mean, I give Skyrim's main game a 7, and that's mostly due to how basic and bland the writing of the game can be, alongside mechanics that feel useless to things not being explained well enough. So take that how you will. I hope this will be a fun video for you guys and gals to watch, and if it is, please do feel free to leave me a like, because it really helps my content out by pushing me up on the ratings. As well as that, it makes me feel like you peeps want more well done content like these videos here, so please don't be shy to let me know. If a dislike is what you feel comfortable leaving, then please do, and let me know in the comments on what you think I may have done well or I may not have done well. With all this said, please do sit back and chill, for we are about to embark on an adventure into deciding which of the three main Skyrim DLCs are the best. Now please do understand, I won't be ranking the three DLCs until the end of the video, all in hopes you will stay to see what I have to say about each one first, because what would the point in this video be otherwise? Am I right, fellow Argonians? I'll be giving the scores, but the scores don't necessarily dictate where the DLCs will be. It's just my idea of where I have it on a rating scale. I have Skyrim above Hearthfire, yet spoiler alert, I've given Hearthfire a higher score than Skyrim. It's all intertwined with the quality of the content and not where it stands. So with that out of the way, let's see what there is to say about this Homestead DLC, because that is all this DLC is really. This game add-on was released on Xbox 360 on September 4th, 2012, before being released exactly 1 month later on October 4th on Windows and then in February on PlayStation 3. It was released for €5 when it came out, or the equivalent in alternative currencies. It's a neat little add-on that lets you choose between building one of 3 different houses in 3 different locations. The houses are built on a plot of land. You buy in the required hold, and from there you start grinding out resources to finish all the rooms and essentials inside of them. The building is quite restrictive in how you go about it, since you can't place things down yourself and more have to adhere to the location the game chooses to place the house, with it always being in the exact same spot. Now, the houses are big and have just about everything you want in them, from armor rooms to alchemy labs to even gardens outside. What I like about these houses over the vanilla ones are the fact that I feel like they are more than just storage. With houses like Breeze Home, I feel that it was too cheap and small for my liking, while the big ones in Solitude are too expensive. I like that I can build onto the house while still living in it, choosing what I want to build first before choosing the next thing. Once you have the house done, you can add various things to it, like stewards, or even go as far as adopting children, which was a meh feature in itself. There isn't a whole lot to the adoption feature, with your kids randomly bringing home pets and asking you for money or gifts when you arrive home from your adventures. Your house will be randomly attacked by either giants or bandits, and honestly, all in all, I felt this was the perfect little thing for me to relax to. That's the main thing I personally take from this game add-on, and that's how therapeutic it is for me, with me being able to stand atop my house and just look out into the distance, enjoying the view in the evenings. I spend, not killing everything. You can focus on building without the worries of fighting enemies and questing, and I mean, setting up all your weapons and boxes to hold the stuff you collect is fun. I give this DLC an 8 because it is beyond cheap with an emphasis on just chilling back. If it was any higher than €5, I would give it far less, but I mean there's enough stuff in here with the house building to give you an easy 5-hour spread over the course of many days or weeks. I like to think I can get 1 hour per €1. Yes, I am one of those, and I've definitely gotten those hours with this add-on. It seems very appropriate to be talking about Dawnguard right now with the Greymoor DLC for the Elder Scrolls Online having been released. Hopefully it has by the time I've gotten this video out. The DLC will focus on a vampire threat to Skyrim for the dreaded vampire lords you get to experience and see in the Dawnguard DLC, and I'm sure like me not a single one of you are complaining that we get to see these badass monsters in action again. I'm quite excited for it. So Dawnguard was the first DLC released for the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and it was a pretty large DLC. It was released on Xbox 360 on the 26th of June 2012 and then on Windows on the 2nd of August 2012. PS3 release came at a later date around February again. This was a weird time when game publishers were making deals with Xbox and PS3 for exclusive deals early, but that's a topic for another day. The DLC released at a price tag of €20 and the same in alternate currencies. That means $20 in America, swines. This DLC focused heavily on story, with there being a huge set of quests that also gives the player a massive choice, one that actually feels semi-meaningful. Two factions are at war with one another, the Dawnguard and the Volkihar clan, an ancient race of vampires with the power that would put the fear of God in Talos. The questline itself is very interesting, with you learning about a plethora of new lore and content such as the Dawnguard clan, who are badass vampire hunters who once had a much more prominent position across, Skyrim. You learn about vampires in much more detail and even get to see what it's like to live around them with Castle Volkihar. You meet the love of my life, Serana, who is voiced by the other love of my life, Laura Bailey. She is my favorite voice actor. Serana is different than other traveling companions because she actually feels like another person with random commentary that makes sense and her having her own story to tell alongside you. Dawnguard isn't just about the Dragonborn, it's also Serana's story too. As well as this, you get to visit a lost, ancient place known as the Forgotten Vale, which has the single most beautiful piece of music I have ever heard in the Elder Scrolls. I've had it playing in the background while I talk about Dawnguard. It is actually so nice. I can sit and listen to this piece of music and get completely lost in my imagination, thinking of things such as Giant Maik. But within the Forgotten Vale is the last remnants of a race we believe to be long gone, the Snow Elves, who are all now turned into Falmore thanks to the works of the evil Dwemer. Those two remaining Snow Elves that you see during the campaign are majestic to say the least, with them feeling like something you couldn't imagine still being around. You really only get to experience seeing these two once. I can imagine it being similar to when I finally meet some Dwemer, outside of whatever that crab thing we meet in Morrowind is. There is the Soul Cairn, which we get to visit. Now, with the Soul Cairn, I don't particularly like it. Getting to see our Lord and Savior Jib is cool and all, but I don't feel it's enough for me to love this open and empty place. I get that it might be part of the aesthetics and the lore behind the Soul Cairn is awesome. The ideal master's way of sorting out the souls in the overworld helps to shed light on necromancy and soul gems in general, but I just found it to be beyond dread, with it going as far as just being boring for me. Skyrim is already grey and bleh, so having purple and bleh doesn't really add on to it. We haven't even tapped into the main villain Harkin yet, who somehow has created a plan that has overlooked the biggest plot hole ever. He wants to destroy the sun and control life without realizing that if he does that, eventually life will cease to exist, and this topic is for another video. Stupid vampires. I love Dawnguard. It has a great questline, some of the best lore I've had the honor of exploring, and some great spectacular moments. Meeting Serana and having her tell us more about vampires to fighting the twin dragons in the Forgotten Vale, who dive through ice fields to come up and fight you repeatedly. There is a lot of content with this DLC that satisfied me, and I found the dungeons to be quite fun. I give it a 9, with my problem being the stupid plot hole and the Soul Cairn. Everything else, I love. Now, I know a lot of you watching this were probably wanting to hear my thoughts on the very much loved Dragonborn DLC. This DLC is a DLC, and that is the best way of putting it. It's a brand new dedicated land. It fills in those nostalgic holes that Morrowind left us. New shouts, new weapons, new enemy types, lots of new enemy types. I spelled enemy wrong in my script here. I put an I before the Y. Lots of new characters, new cities, new towns, new everything. This is a packed DLC that is more than stellar. Miraak is the single coolest character in Skyrim. He is an actual villain with an actual plan who seems like an actual threat who absorbs dragon souls from dragons that you slay while he's all the way in Apocrypha. Like, how badass is that? He's so freaking cool, and it makes me so disappointed that I'll never be the one to kill him and find out if I was even capable of doing so, since Hermimora and his stupid tentacles come in and steal the biggest kill in Elder Scrolls history. Why is this a thing? Who thought this was a good idea? Like, why can't I kill him? Why does Hermiboy get to? I hate it so much that it might be me, but goddammit, does it ruin the story for me every single time, even though it has nothing? I feel petty, but I feel my pettiness is justified. Dragonborn released on the Xbox 360 on the 4th of December 2012 and came out later on Windows on the 5th of February 2013. And it didn't released on PS3 during February like the other DLCs, and this game add-on came out for the standard €20 price tag of most add-ons at the time. Oh, I miss them cheaper days. Dragonborn takes you to the distant land of Solstheim, a familiar place a lot of you have already visited before with the Blood Moon DLC from Morrowind if I'm not mistaken. This is the DLC I've played the least of, but still a metric ton. There are still side quests I have not done and completed, but there would be very few left. Solstheim feels so Morrowind it's not even funny, and that's in terms of nostalgic roots. Raven Rock is as pretty as ever, with the lands themselves being covered in giant mushrooms and all the annoying creatures you remember fighting in the Elder Scrolls 3. The DLC is about the first Dragonborn, Miraak, who has shown himself to be the one that wants to rule and get rid of any who oppose him or who he feels is a threat, and the other Dragonborn would be a threat. The quest will take you a couple of hours, with the quests themselves being incredibly fun, specifically the Black Book quests, and there is a lot of these. The main quest for Dragonborn has them, and there is a bunch of side ones for you to do as well. The side quests themselves are quite interesting, and most are fleshed out really well with a lot to do. The DLC has a lot of new shouts to use, like Dragon Aspect, which is pretty much my favourite one, a lot of new weapons. Just want to say, Miraak's sword is still one of the coolest swords out there. I mean, you can get his ropes too. You can be Miraak, boys. What more do you want? The DLC also added in a dragon riding mechanic that is honestly, I say this with the most professional critique I can, it's shit. It's beyond restricting, the controls are awful. It might be fun for some cool shots for a YouTube video, but no, this is not my cup of tea. You also get a chance to meet characters you loved in previous games, like Nelot, who is as obnoxious twat, but we love him nonetheless. There are over 90 new locations to explore with this DLC and over 30 new weapons, 11 new alchemy ingredients, 70 new books, and just so much crap. There is so much to do, and in my opinion, the DLC asking price is 100% justified. This feels like €20 worth of content, in my opinion, at the time. It feels polished, the story feels tight and makes sense. The varieties of apparel and weapons make it so you can make a multitude of no characters. And a no character is what, you may ask? A no character is a character we know. We know play, alright? We don't want no characters. The DLC makes it so we can play non-no characters, and they're the yes characters. They're the ones who look cool with Miraak's sword. But yeah, I've been doing this all too well like the rest of you. I like it. Even with my grievances for Miraak's End, I feel like that's more a petty personal thing, and it shouldn't go against the quality of the DLC. I mean, how can it not be a 10? I don't think it's a masterpiece. I think it's good enough to solidify itself as the perfect DLC to end off what a lot of people deem to be the perfect game. I give it a 10 because it does what a DLC should. It gives you a decent new story, a big new playground to run around and do things in, and gives you a whole bunch of new tools to mess around with. Some you like and some you don't, and it seems pretty normal to me and I love it. Now for my own personal ranking of the DLCs, well, some people will probably be happy with what I deem is where, and some will probably be angry. I know this is what comes with the territory of giving your opinion on the internet. I am going to be putting Hearthfire at number 3. It's the smallest of 3, and no matter how much I like something, it would feel like such a crime to put it ahead of the other two, which are leagues ahead in terms of quality and quantity, which are two very important aspects of a DLC for a video game. It's relaxing and gives you some extra things to do when you aren't out adventuring. At number 2, I'm going to put Dragonborn. Please don't hate me. While it might be the perfect DLC for all of you, it isn't my perfect adventure. It gives you a plethora of new content, a big old story for you to enjoy and experience, and really, there isn't a whole lot of faults with it. At number 1, I'm putting Dawnguard, because to me, it's the perfect adventure. It's the epic quest I needed. It takes you across different lands, to literally different realms. You meet powerful characters and gain access to extremely powerful artifacts like, oh, I don't know, the frickin' bow of Oriel. You literally wield a god's bow. Also, Serana, my love, who I will treasure with all my heart and soul. She cannot be replaced by anybody, for me. But yeah, that's where I put them. That's the scores I give them, and I hope you're happy with the explanations I gave for each one. I enjoyed telling you what I thought of them and where I placed them in my rankings. Well friends, that is all for this one. Do leave a rating and all that good stuff and let me know where you place the DLCs in your own personal rankings. Give them a score 2 if you want. I'd like to see what you all think of them too. Remember, this is supposed to be a fun video where we can all gain something from like learning something new. Maybe trying out one of the DLCs because you haven't before or something similar to that. I appreciate you all watching and goodbye.